Yeah, Bob did.
Okay, we're starting here. Well, I'm pumped up, Brad.
You look pumped up, Bob.
Hi, folks. I'm
Wow.
Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course.
We are trying a new microphone today. Our other one kind of went kaput. One is going to work either. This is a live event, so the microphone just does not tend to be as good as on the rebroadcast.
Sure.
So, by the way, if you are new to our channel, please take a second, go over to YouTube and subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, and pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, if you haven't already, go over to Facebook and like us, because Brad and I, as children, were picked on, and we're trying to turn everything around and get people to like us now. In fact, if some of you old bullies are on Facebook right now, beware. I might have my friend come and beat you up. He's a second-degree black belt.
Yep, right? Bob.
All right, what's our program today, by the way, Brad?
10-minute
10-minute beginner weight training with dumbbells. It's a home program. This is, I'm going to emphasize, it's for beginners.
Right.
All right, this is for people who haven't done this before. And what you're going to need, you're going to need a weight. You can use a couple soup cans if you want to start off with that.
Right, you don't have to go and buy something that your body doesn't know if it's a 1 pound of soup or 1 pound of cast iron.
That's a very good point, Brad. The other thing is, if you are a guy, generally, we do, as you go along and get beyond the beginner stage, we recommend like 5 to 10 pounds of weight. I'm using the 10-pound weight here because I'm all man all the time.
Oh, yeah, you're strong like bull.
And for women, we generally recommend 3 to 8 pounds. But hey, I see women that are as strong as I am, so if they want to go to 5 to 10 pounds, that's fine.
You bet.
So we didn't turn the timer on, Lonnie. You want to turn that timer on? And we're going to go ahead and do a warm-up here. We're going to make it about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and start off with the warm-up, Brad. We're first going to go ahead. You can do jumping jacks, or you can just do marching in place and raise your legs up or raise your arms up like this too. Again, we want to show you a beginner kind of, and also we can show you maybe a little more advanced, which would be jumping jacks.
All right, I want you to mention, think about the breathing. Relax breathing.
Brad's really good at that. Always incorporate breathing. You're right. I forget that all the time, and I tend to hold my breath. But when you're talking, by the way, you are breathing.
Wow, you bring up a very good point. So if you're at home by yourself, either talk to yourself or think about your breathing.
Talk to your cat, talk to your dog, talk to the TV screen as we're, say hi, Bob and Brad. By the way we're going to do things here is after we do the program, that's when we're going to take questions. So we're going to try to go through the whole program then, and then load up with the questions, and we'll take as many as we can handle, which usually is maybe, 5 to 10, right, Brad?
Right. It depends how long they are and how complicated. We don't want to get confused.
All right, let's go into the first exercise, Brad.
Right.
The first one's going to be some good back strengthening here. You're going to get into kind of a half bent over position here, but really good posture. And you're going to bring your arms out to the side. My arms are at a right angle here. My elbows are.
Bob, I'm going to take a minute to point. This part of your back is arched to maintain a good, healthy, strong back so we don't injure ourselves.
Yeah, that's it. That's the key to this, is really keeping this right in alignment. Okay, next one, Brad. You're going to do the goblet squat.
All right. So like you're holding the weight like a goblet, and we're going to just squat down.
Now, if you're new to this, do shallow ones.
Right.
You don't need to go that deep.
Right.
Keep it right up here, Brad, by you.
And one thing we don't want to do is squat way down either. There's a limit. If you feel comfortable when your thighs are level with the floor, that's far enough.
Again, we know we're dealing with beginners here, so we're going to go ahead and stick with that. Okay, Brad, next one. I'm going to go ahead and do some shoulder flexion. So you're just going to bring it up and alternate. Really good for the shoulder. This is part of that rotator cuff that you want to strengthen. And we mean cuff, not cup.
Yeah, no
Right,
cups going on here, not like the goblet.
Very simple exercise, good for the shoulder. We got, let's see, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And we don't need to bring these way
No,
up.
I won't go all the way up. All right, Brad, you're going to show calf raises.
Right. So I'm going to do the weights here, up on the toes, as high as you can get. Maintain your balance naturally. Then we're going to continue those. Breathing, good posture. Don't let yourself slouch. Get back. Keep on breathing. Boy, you're breathing good, Bob. Lonnie, you breathe too.
That's right. Let's have the camera one. We don't want her passing out. That'd be a tragedy.
What's next, Bob?
All right, next is curls. So I'm going to do alternating curls. Now what I like to do is palm down and then palm up. Palm down, palm up. Palm down, palm up. Does that make sense, Brad?
Yes, it does.
Palm down, palm up.
So he's talking about you're actually rotating your forearm.
Because that's the way the bicep actually works. It actually supinates your forearm. If you're going to get into the therapy world here, you're going to talk that way. And it also flexes the elbow.
And I cannot emphasize enough on this one, especially posture, shoulders,
Posture
back.
and breathing.
Don't let this happen.
All right, Brad, you're up into lunges now.
Oh, yes, lunges. Okay, so I'm going to go forward with one leg.
You're going to put your weights up here, Brad.
Okay, that helps the posture like that. Now, if you're starting with these, take a shallow one. Don't go too deep. If you really do some deep ones, your quadriceps will get sore the next day, and it'll make you say bad things possibly. So there you go. I like to alternate. You can do right leg all at a time, and
all right,
do the
Brad.
left. We're done with that.
You're done. Okay, Lonnie, you might have to take that one camera down a little bit so you can see me down here. Can you see me?
There you go.
So we're going to do pullovers here. So you got the weight over your head like this, and then I'm pulling it over like this. Now you can keep the arms a little wider apart, and that gets more lats. If you can put it a little closer together, it's getting a little more upper chest. But just doing some pullovers like this.
There you go.
Where am I at with time-wise, Brad? I can't see the clock on this one.
You're done.
I'm done already?
You're
All right,
done.
then I'm going to go ahead and do some chest. I'm going to get both of them, and I'm just going to go ahead and do some chest. Again, for beginners here, so this isn't that tough.
I really like this because it keeps your back in perfect alignment. You're right on a firm floor. You don't have to be concerned about posture.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that you're going too deep and that it's too hard on your chest. You're just getting a workout. What's the time now, Brad?
Well, you've got 6 seconds.
All right, I want to stay on track here.
Right.
30-second limits here.
Then we're going to go to flutters.
Then we're going to go to a core here. Now you can go ahead and put your hands underneath your butt here, and you can actually provide a little support here. If this is too hard for you, just go ahead and touch like this.
Sure, you bet.
But if you're able to, you can go ahead and flutter.
I like to put my hands like this and make a triangle, and then that goes right at my sacrum. It's the most comfortable for me. Everyone has their own deal with that.
How am I doing, Brad?
You're doing good, Bob. Oh, I mean on time. You got 2 seconds.
1001, 1002. Okay, what's next one?
Shoulders, squats. We're going to bring it hands up to here. We'll have to adjust again, Lonnie. There you go. Thank you. And we're going to do squats.
There
When
we
you
go.
do squats, get your feet wide apart. Not really wide, but at least shoulder width. And then good posture. Back is strong. And here. Now this, your feet should stay flat on the floor typically, especially when you're not going deep. But again, good, strong posture.
Okay, and
Not
then we're
this.
back on the floor again. We're doing a quadruped position here.
Time is just flying.
Yeah, it
Bob.
is. All right, and we're going to go ahead and do rows here. So you're going to go ahead and pull up like this, like you're pulling on a lawnmower.
This is much better to do it than standing over like this because this stresses your back. This does not.
Yeah, this is just a good way to do it. Let me keep my back straight while I'm doing it. And you can alternate. You can go back and forth like this, or you can go 5 on one side and go 5 on the other side, however you want to do it. Alternate actually works out pretty good, Brad.
It's like marching, Bob, with your hands.
All right, and then we're going to go ahead and go out to the side like this. This one's a little more difficult. I'm going to do 5 in one way. And this one, especially with this much weight, is a little more difficult.
And this really works those that shoulder girdle.
Yeah, this really working that shoulder girdle
Right.
posture is exactly right. That core posture. Good. Okay, next one, Brad. We've got obliques. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're triceps. I'm doing triceps.
Oh, yeah. Now notice where he maintains his elbow in one position, so he isolates those tricep muscles. That's a really nice form.
Yeah, this is a tough exercise. This actually isn't that easy with 10 pounds.
Right. Well,
It's actually, I'm actually getting a little bit of a workout here.
I
Brad.
normally use 65 pounds, Bob, but I didn't want to say anything.
I'm glad you didn't make me feel bad. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of core workout here, Brad. I'm going to go ahead and get on my side. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this hand here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit side.
Kind of a sideways sit-up.
Sit-up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not getting tired at all. How are you doing,
I'm just
Bob?
looking ahead to what else I got next. Somehow this worked out that I'm doing all these.
It doesn't bother me at all, Bob. I'm going to catch up.
All right, I'm going to go to the other side, Brad, and get the other side also.
After this one, I'm going to do the hip and the arm abduction standing with the weights.
Oh, did we skip that one?
Yes,
didn't we?
well, that's all right. We can put it in now. But as soon as you get done, we've got 15 more minutes of you doing this. Oh, seconds.
Let me
Seconds.
breathe.
You're doing good. Yeah, that's important, Bob. All right, man.
Okay.
Okay. Now this one, now he's going to adjust the camera. One arm's going to go out to the side, and then the leg's going to go out to the side. I like to do it right arm and left leg at the same time. It's a little easier to balance. If you want to do like this, you can do that as well. But I'm going to do it like this. 1, 2. I'm going to do 3 right now. You could do 5 or 10 on a side. But it's important to do both sides. Otherwise, you walk around in circles after a while.
Our joke is it's a duck, like a duck, one-legged duck swimming. Gonna go around in a circle.
This one is much harder than it looks like, Bob.
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
Yeah.
That going into abduction, that's again, this is a small muscle moving a large, long lever arm. So it always makes it a lot more difficult than you think.
I'm breathing, Bob.
All right.
Can I be done?
Yeah, you can be done. All right. That last one we're going to do is basically call this. So you can grab one dumbbell, and the key is you're supposed to get down here, and right here you're supposed to do a bit of a hip hinge.
Right.
And right there you bring it down, and then you're just going to bring it up like this. Hip hinge, bring it up.
Yeah.
Hip hinge.
I don't care what anybody says. I don't hip hinge because it bothers my back.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you can do it.
Squat.
You can start off just like this if you want.
Right.
If you're being very careful and you're doing really good form, I'm keeping my back really straight.
Right here.
It does really work well to do the hip hinge. And this is actually a tough exercise, Brad, if you do a lot of these.
Right.
See here, am I breathing?
Yep.
So, okay, that was 10 minutes, Brad. Now we can do a little bit of a cool down.
Oh, good.
And then we can start taking some questions.
It was hard watching you work.
So again, we can do a little marching, arm raises.
If you have any shoulder problems, it hurts to go up like that, simply just go up as far as that's comfortable.
I'm going to see if there's any questions, Brad.
Yeah.
Go ahead and cool down.
We're going to do a little trunk rotation. Again, when you're cooling down, just relax.
So this is a good question. A guy said after working out, Zello said this, and after you get working out, you get sore the next day.
Right.
Should you do the same exercise again that day?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, I think it's a good idea to go every other day to start with. Right. And then maybe do a different type of exercise, and that's kind of like some cross training. It's a really good option.
Yeah, very good point, Brad. I think a lot of times weightlifters won't do the same muscle group for maybe 2 days.
Right.
Like they'll wait 48 hours.
Sure.
So they'll do biceps on a Monday, and then might not do them again until like a Thursday.
Sure.
So that's really coming among weightlifters. That's a very good question, by the way, because it just doesn't good to keep getting sore. You
Right.
you want to have that under control.
One option I think you could do, Bob, is you could repeat the whole routine, but at a very low level intensity.
That's a really good point because that's actually helps get a little bit of soreness out.
Right.
Yeah.
They call that an active recovery versus just not doing anything, but you're going. And what they say is it's going to be so gentle and such a slow or low intensity. It's going to feel like I'm not even
doing anything, right?
But you're still getting blood flow. You're getting.
And then the next day you can go back to being a little more intense again.
Right,
so,
sure.
Lonnie, any questions?
So she's asking any recommendation for AC ligament rehabilitation. She had surgeries. She had 2 surgeries in her entire shoulder.
Oh,
Okay, so she had a acromioclavicular surgery she had.
yeah.
She's, I don't know, they're gonna have to probably go by the guidelines of the surgery. So the lady's asking, she's had AC surgery, acromioclavicular, that's right at the end of the clavicle.
Right.
And, people don't understand this, but that bone, that collarbone is actually moving when you raise your arm.
Right.
So you're putting stress on that joint.
Right.
So she's going to have to follow the guidelines because I'm not sure what she's going to be allowed to do.
Right. The surgeon will typically have a protocol that's like, don't lift your arm above 90 degrees until so many weeks after, things like that. You have to get that specifically from the surgeon will have their list of precautions.
I mean, eventually, I mean, you're going to want to get as much range in that shoulder as you can. You want to show it just with the wand, Brad, just so I can get flexion and abduction. And you want to go ahead? I'll look and see if there's
Sure, you bet. So you're going to work that shoulder, and if the surgeon says you can work with it as tolerated, then gives you kind of the green light to do anything. But you never want to work it into any sharp pain. Stretch it out so you can work flexion like this. You can go abduction as tolerated. A little stretch pain is okay. Sharp pain, you're overdoing it. Back off on it. And boy, this one will stretch it out as well. All these are options that you can do. Just general mobility, low-level strengthening, get that shoulder moving again. Anything else, Bob?
So Greg Hulk is wondering about, is there any advantage to doing, having push-pull? Like some days you're pushing exercises, and one day you're doing pulling.
Right.
I know there's some, if you're not doing heavy weightlifting, there's some advantage to doing them both on the same day, right?
Well, I like to do, they call them supersets.
That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Where you'll push and pull, and I like to do it because it's time-wise, it's efficient. Because when you're pushing, you're working one muscle group, and when you're pulling, you're letting that other muscle group rest, working the opposite muscle
But if you're doing heavy weights, I wouldn't recommend that. Because it's not really, are you pushing or pulling, it's what muscle groups are you doing.
Sure.
So if one day you do chest, you don't want to do back maybe on the same day, unless well, that would give it a rest. But I'm saying you want to there's one day you want to give the chest a rest.
Sure.
And that would be a day to maybe do a pull day then.
Sure.
So, it's all dependent on if you're just toning. I think you can do push-pull on the same day. If you're doing heavy lifting, then you want to break it down by muscle groups, and don't do the same ones on this every other day.
Right.
Type of thing.
And again, I think what Bob you said, I'm going to say it again. It depends on the type of lifting you're doing. Are you really getting to bulk the muscle and heavy weights? Or are you working for exercise and a higher heart rate?
Just functional things. Then you can go ahead and do push-pull, all day long if you want. So
yeah, you get tired though.
You'll get tired, yeah. Lonnie?
So with knee arthritis, will lunges helps if it's done easily?
With knee arthritis, as long as you're not having pain, you can do lunges.
Sure.
With knee arthritis, it gets to a point, initially, as much motion as you can get in the knee, the better.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to be so bad that any movement at all hurts, then we're not going to recommend doing something like that. But you're going to show, Brad?
Well, I'm just going to say, if you have any questions with your knees, get a couple of walking sticks or some canes and do them so you have some support and take some stress off it. If you can do them like that without any pain,
that's absolutely good for the knees.
And if you do it without them, it creates pain. Well, do them with the support.
And also when he's doing this, he's making sure the knee does not go past the front of the foot when he's, we can't see that too. Well, there you can kind of see it.
Right. We don't want that.
Yeah, so you're dipping down more
here,
because that's going to put a lot more stress on the knee.
Right, so, particularly the kneecaps, which is all part of it.
And generally, a lot of times, even with arthritis, if you stay shallow, you're not getting real bad into the joint. It's not going to be as difficult. So.
Right. So you're not going to go way down to here, just mini squats, we call them. Good question.
Should you work out 1 hour before sleeping? This is Robert Lopez. It's funny they say not to, right? Because it gets your adrenaline up and you can't sleep well, but it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I could work out right before I go to bed, and I'd probably still. So I think with a lot of these things, it's personal experimentation.
Right.
I mean,
like Bob says, they don't recommend it. I've done it just because I had
busy.
That was the only time I had, or it was really hot outside. I had to get my run in, and that was when it was cool out. So I could run. But when I get done working out, I can't fall right to sleep. So for me, it's probably not
so
the
it
best.
does fit that. Also, they tell you avoid that blue screen right before you go to bed. That's probably more important. Don't have that computer screen or telephone.
Right.
It sets off that natural reaction to you to sunlight.
Sure.
It makes you want to stay awake. So
can sciatica still heal after 7 months of pain? So when do you decide to go to surgery route?
All right, that's a good question. So the question is, can sciatica heal after 7 months, or is that the point where you should consider surgery? Well, first off, I want to make sure that you have tried the Mckenzie Technique.
Sure.
That's Mckenzie. And
if you Google Bob and Brad and Mckenzie,
right,
we've got a video that shows you how to find out if there's one near where you live.
yeah, you can Google that, and it'll show the videos where you could try it,
Mm-hmm.
and it also will show you how to find a therapist that's trained in that. So that's what Brad was talking about.
Sure.
I mean, and then if you've done all that, if you're still getting pain down the leg, I don't know that I would unless you're starting to get weakness or numbness or
Right.
tingling where you're starting to get, you know what I mean?
Someone may have it for 7 months because they have been doing no exercise or the wrong exercise and actually irritating it. And once you get on the right track, then you can reverse it. So, I've worked with people that have not had success with what they were doing before. I changed the exercises, and all of a sudden, whoa, it's getting better. And then they just love you.
The time is not a factor as much as what are you doing. Now, if you've done all the right things and then it's still not getting better, I'm not a great believer in surgery unless you start having weakness.
Right.
Are you agree with that, Brad? Or
Yeah, but
if it's intractable pain where you can't sleep and can't live.
You're going to have to talk to, if you talk to your therapist, doctor, maybe get a second opinion is a really good idea, I think. And then, use their advice.
So this guy says, shackle up. He said, great videos. He likes the weights are good. He likes his total gym since he's got older. I like total gym. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The total gym, the slide.
Yeah, the Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Oh, yeah. Great. I think that's fantastic.
I like Chuck too.
Yeah, I do too.
The only thing, I don't like about the total gym is it takes up a lot of space. You have to have a designated place for it.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
I remember, your husband, Lonnie, Tim had one. Does he still have it?
No.
That big total gym?
No, he
I don't think he, I think he,
Rosie
Maybe.
took it? Oh, for the
No.
knee surgery.
Tim, how
they probably hang clothes on it. It's probably a furniture holder. That's usually what happens to someone that has pieces of equipment. But yeah, if you're dedicated to it, fantastic. So, Lonnie, you got any more?
Here's the question from James Williams. When I do exercises, my neck tenses up. So is there any way to prevent this?
Yeah, I would think a lot of times if your neck is tensing up, you probably have a neck issue somewhat.
Or a postural thing while you're
Right.
exercising.
Yeah, very good point, Brad. Because if your neck is going forward while you're working out, but what I would do is start off by warming up your neck by making sure first you're doing the chin tucks.
Sure.
So you're tucking your chin like this, and then you're also going to do some extensions before you even work out, and you could even do some rotations, and then really work on keeping that head directly over your shoulders. The ears lined up with the shoulders, no matter what exercise you're doing.
And then the shoulders need to be in the right place.
The shoulders need to
So
be
they're
back.
back, your head's back. And then one thing I want to mention, we talked about breathing. I am just a big proponent. If you're not breathing, you might be just getting all tensing up, which can even make the problem worse. So posture, breathing, good mechanics.
I've seen people running like this, Brad. And if they're wondering
And
why
they
they're
weren't going uphill.
no, and if they're wondering why they're having neck and back pain, that's probably part of it. I mean, that's going to play a role.
Right. Posture is so critical.
Lonnie's laughing. What are you laughing about, Lonnie? Oh,
Well, you're anybody would laugh at
This is
him.
about arthritis again. Have you any advice for arthritis in my feet? My feet hurt like mad first thing in the morning.
so she's got arthritis in her feet, and they hurt like mad in the morning.
I wonder if it
Plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis,
Yeah.
because that's a very it could be both. It might be one or the other, but
Yeah, with plantar fasciitis, what you're going to have is you're going to have pain right where the heel is, and going into the midfoot.
and when you get up in the bed and you stand out in the morning, it
hurts like crazy.
And then it gets a little better as you walk off for the next 5
That's
or 10
what makes
minutes.
us think. Although arthritis is the same way, it tends to do better once it warms up.
Yeah.
So I mean, either way, you want to do some warm up in bed before you even get started.
Range
One
of
you can
motion.
do is you can grab and stretch the toe toward you. I don't know if you can see that, Brad. I'm pulling. Yeah,
I don't have a lot, but we're talking about getting this toe, to stretch that plantar.
it'll stretch the plantar, but it'll also stretch the foot.
Right.
And then I want you to go ahead and work the foot in all different directions.
Yeah.
Warm it up, get it in circles.
Ankle pumps, we call these.
Curl the toes, open the toes. As much as you can get things moving in the morning, the better off it's going to be. So,
Like a windshield wiper, Bob.
yeah, that does work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kay Puller says, I'm dealing with sciatica on and off. I work had a job with heavy lifting and lots of register work. What exercises can I stretch, can I do daily to relieve my hamstring soreness? Again, the hamstring soreness might be from the sciatica.
Sure.
It could be sending pain down there. Lifting, lifting isn't as much as a problem a lot of times as sitting.
Yeah.
If you're, hopefully you're not having to sit much. When you lift, obviously you're going to want to lift correctly.
Good body mechanics. Yep.
If you do a fair amount of lifting, you might even want to get one of those braces that
Sure.
Do we have that in our section down below?
The braceability brace. I don't know if we have that under our list of favorite exercising or
A good brace that
equipment or
you
not.
just tighten up right before you do the lift.
Right.
Again, emphasize again, you should be using the Mckenzie program, and at some point on the Mckenzie program, while you're standing, you can do some extensions like this and see if that reduces your leg pain.
Right. It all depends on
where you're at in the progression.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you need to watch our playlist on Mckenzie Technique for sciatica,
Sure.
because if you haven't done that stuff, you haven't treated it yet. You really haven't
Right.
done anything for your
You
sciatica.
got to get after it in the right approach.
Lonnie's got
That's
another
from,
question.
June Puso.
June Kuso.
Yeah, he said, please make a senior tip day. Make it Saturday or Sunday to have a senior tip. We always need to start.
Yeah,
Tips helps.
that's good. He was saying make a senior tip day.
Senior tip day, yeah.
Yeah, senior tip day. So basically tips for seniors, I guess.
Mhm.
We are going to try to do a few more videos on working out for seniors and
Sure.
stretching for seniors.
Right.
We're trying to keep in mind our whole audience. But no, that's a very good point.
Right. At one time, YouTube was never watched by people over 30 years old. And
Right.
now it's getting up into people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s are catching into this.
It says, "Don't be scared," but there's a spooky skeleton behind us. Someone else said, "Why is he so frightened?"
Oh, well, that's the way.
He's watching us. What do you think? Why would he think you'd be frightened?
Right. Well, I'll open his mouth up to see what happens.
Lonnie, any other questions? You think that's it?
I got some patience waiting, Bob. We got to wrap her up.
All
pretty
right.
soon.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll probably not be live next week because it's Thanksgiving. We'll be live the week after.
Right.
again. So,
we're not like Black Friday.
all right.
Bob, why do they call these dumbbells?
I'm
It's such a
probably.
They don't look like a bell and they're not dumb. So why do they call them that?
I think because you're holding it.